Hello, ladies and gentlemen. In this video, I'm going to be showing off the Borks sales process. This is a video that I would literally never post online publicly because of the fact that this is like legit, like the cream and crop of how we close clients. To have a good sales process, you need to have a lot of automation. Again, this isn't something that you should be worrying about when you just get started on your agency, but I mean, it's pretty much impossible to really scale and have a good closing rate if you don't have a process built out like this. And again, I've never seen literally anybody share a sales process as defined as ours, and I'm doing it for you guys. But let's get right into it. So the sales process starts on the Borks.io landing page. This is where pretty much every inbound lead that we get goes, right? So this is the website that they go on. It's our landing page. When they click get a free outbound audit, right here pops up a Calendly. This is the Calendly that we use specifically for inbound leads, right? So we did just talk about the difference between inbound leads and outbound leads. And we actually have it set up so we have different Calendly links for the channels that we have leads coming in through, right? So the inbound link right here is the one with all the questions. So if we go to this one, you'll be able to see if I select a time, you have first name, last name, email, phone number, company name, company website, right? Current monthly revenue, desired monthly revenue, right? You have all of these different questions, and this is basically made to add friction by design, meaning you're purposely adding a bunch of different questions so people have to put in more effort to book with you because you want to make sure that these people who are coming from inbound are actually interested leads, right? A lot of people who come from inbound are just taking a look or just messing around or just like trying to waste your time. So you add a bunch of questions to add friction by design, right? That's kind of like the thinking of making this link have 10 different questions, right? It also gives you more information on the lead, which gives you more information to use to determine whether you want to take the call or not. So that's why we have this inbound link. Now, we also have a link for Twitter outreach, cold email, our SDR who does cold calling, because those are the other three channels that we're getting leads from. Now, the reason why we separated these three channels is just to make it simple in terms of attribution, so we know where people are coming from. Obviously, you could just make one Calendly and have a little drop down where you have the different options. But in the end of the day, doing it this way just makes it a lot less simple, right? Because it reduces room for mistakes if someone selected the wrong drop down or something like that. So they just each get their own individual link. Okay, now I'll show you how, for example, all of the outbound links look. They look exactly the same as the inbound link, except they don't have any of the unnecessary questions. So it's just first name, last name, phone number, and company name and website. This is obviously filled out by the actual person who's inbox managing. So for example, well, this one's for the SDR, but the SDR will literally... Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get right back to the video, but let me show you something first, okay? Look, we are launching Lead Academy V2. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Lead Academy is my coaching program dedicated to helping other people get better at cold outreach. Okay, now for just $99 a month, you can get access to Built With, Store Leads, Clutch, Agency Vista, Google My Business, Yellow Pages, and Get Latka Scraping with unlimited usage. Okay, over 24 hours of course content on everything that you can think of in relation to cold outreach, right? 3 live weekly group calls with me and my partner Tyler, a community of a ton of lead generation experts, and access to plug and plays, which include real agency sales calls from our agency of us talking to real prospects, via sell templates, landing page templates, hiring templates, and so much more. Okay, but that's not it. We are offering a 50% discount for all new members who join the Professor Plan right on our launch week. Okay, that's going to bring it down to only $50 for your first month. And on top of that, we're going to give you a 7-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee that you guys will not be using because you're going to love the product. Okay, this code is going to go live on August 26th. It's going to be leads 50. It's going to be the first thing in the description. So if you are interested, make sure August 26th, you check this out. But with that being said, back to the video. Ask over the phone, what's your email? And he'll fill it in. He won't send this link to them. This is all local. He fills out this information and then it comes to us, right? Same thing for the cold email guy. So the guy who does our inboxes, he inbox manages for us. Whenever somebody wants to book a call with Borks, he'll just enter their information in here and click schedule event. Okay. Now, once he schedules the event, right, we have a bunch of different make automations, 16 just for the sales process, which is going to start a ton of different automations, right? Obviously, you guys can see right here, this is a pretty complex automation. Reason why is because we pretty much account for everything. So for example, We account for the fact that we have follow-up calls, which was that other event. This is for follow-up calls, meaning after that first call. We have follow-up calls, then we have the discovery call, which is our first call. If it's a new lead, it gets its own sequence. If it's an existing lead, it gets another sequence. If it's an b2b lead, then it gets its own sequence, which is something I'll talk about in a little bit. But we kind of account for every possible situation. Then you see that even if it's a follow-up call, if it's a new call, then it has its own sequence. If it's a reschedule on a follow-up call, then it has its own sequence, right? There's a lot of automation that goes into making this work. And then obviously each one of these kind of trigger another automation. So it just starts like a sequence of things. So for example, for new leads, they all have to go through schedule reminder, right? This is what schedules the reminders, like before the 24-hour call, 15-minute, 4-hour, right? This is how all the automations work, and they kind of interact with each other. So like when a new call comes in, it'll trigger this automation, and this automation will trigger another automation, and so on. But my goal here isn't necessarily to show you the automations or like how we built them. It's more to show you how it works so you can go and build something similar for yourself, okay? So that's what happens. Then as well, we also have a data dashboard. This dashboard, we literally just built out. So it's not the best example because there's not really much data in here. But this kind of just shows you where exactly you're getting your leads from. So right here, we have like a pie chart showing that 36% of our leads are coming from cold email, 27% is coming from cold calling, 18% is coming from Twitter, inbound Twitter, 9% is coming from outbound Twitter, and 9% is coming from unknown lead sources, right? So we have like a little pie chart to show that. It shows where the leads that you're winning are coming from. Now, again, this is not up to date. Like we literally just launched this. So, it's not, I guess, the best, right? Like we have a lot more data in reality, but it's not in here. But as time goes on, this will get populated and it'll be really useful. But in here, you'll be able to see like what's your most popular offering. You'll be able to see like what your show up rate is. So it's like right now we just have like almost 100% show up rate on every platform because like, again, there's not that much data in here. You're able to see what the qualified rate is. So what percentage of leads are qualified depending on the platform they're coming from. So right now, highest quality leads for us are coming from our Twitter. So Twitter George, obviously because they're inbound. So makes perfect sense. Then we have the closing rate, so what percentage of leads close depending on the channel they're coming from, right? So again, not much data, so this is not very accurate. The average amount of touch points before closing a client. So like how we have this set up is every time we talk to a prospect, whether it's a text message, whether it's an email, whether it's a follow-up, whatever it is, we consider that a touch point. How many times do we have to interact with a person before they become a client? Now, in this situation, there's only one client that actually got closed while the system was running. So we ended up having to talk to that person 97 times totally across all emails, across all text messages, across all Zoom meetings. It was 97 times before they closed. And that's how that looks, right? And, in essence, that's how that's set up. Then revenue generating sources by attribution channel. This is basically which channel brings in what money. So again, there's only one deal. So it's all under cold calling Gabe. And then you can see right here, we got 39 leads this month. This system only launched about 2 weeks ago. So 39 leads in the past 2 weeks, 11 qualified leads this month, 1 deal closed, 7 days on average to close this call. So it took us 1 week to close that prospect, 10 average touch points, 9% average conversion rate. And this is just like a data dashboard in order to see where we're at with our service offering, right? We have the same thing for the SDR. So this dashboard is able to tell us basically what's going on in terms of the data. So 0 calls today because it is a Saturday. We don't dial on Saturdays. So that's why that says 0. Weekly performance data. So on here, you'll be able to see the pickup rate, the total calls made, total pitch, right? You have a couple of SDR performance metrics here, individual SDR metrics. We only have one SDR right now, so there's only one person there. And then which day of the week is performing the best for us. So we have all that set up. And in essence, that's how we track our KPIs, right? Now, what I'm going to do real quick is I'm actually going to go ahead and book one call just so you guys can see what that looks like. So I'm just going to do like a random name. And we actually have a catch all enabled, so this will actually work. I'll just put like a random number. I'll show you guys what actually happens in the sales process. Okay, so that'll get booked in, and then we have close, which is where the CRM is. In here, we're going to go to opportunities, Kevin Smith. So this is where the opportunity shows up. So automatically it was added into here. Right away he gets a confirmation. This is how our confirmations look like. Thanks for booking, Kevin. It's Georgie from Borks. Just wanted to send over a quick note saying we've got your booking all squared away. In the meantime, why don't you check a preparation video. This is that post-call video that I showed in the earlier videos, right? So you have that, and then you have the rest of the process, inviting them to watch the call, just a little bit of copy, talking about what we're going to cover, what we're expecting from you, see some of our past work so they can see a couple of case studies, a couple of lead magnets, some blogs, all that information. Then we have our signature there, so it looks nice. And that's basically the meeting confirmation email, right? Then the meeting started. This is the same thing, just when the meeting starts. Right here, 24-hour reminder. So this was sent 24 hours before the call. 4-hour reminder, and then a 15-minute reminder. This is all very simple stuff, so I'm not going to go into like super in-depth into explaining it, but that's basically how it works. Then I'm also not going to go to the opportunity section just because I don't want to leak what our prospects' names are for obvious reasons. But in essence, how this works is once the call is done, we actually have a trigger, which I'll show real quick, which is Zoom Events, which is able to automatically detect when a call has finished. And when a call has finished, it'll basically take that call, find the lead associated with that call, mark it as call done, and put the recording into the CRM, and then send the person the recording as an email. Now, I'll show you guys one really quick example of how that looks. Here, let me go to close. Who's a lead that I can show you? Like, for example, honestly, this guy. Okay, so you can see right here we've had a lot of different conversations with this person, and you can see that right here. He is not in any sequence because it's been a while since we've talked, but you can see that meeting started, and then status from discovery call done. And here, hey Nicholas, it was nice talking to you. Right, this is this thread. And the first email is, hey, Nicholas, it's Georgie from Borks. We had our call earlier today about potentially collaborating on your outbound acquisition efforts. I just wanted to drop in and send over the recording from our call just in case you wanted to go back and check anything out. And that's the recording to that call. And this was all sent automatically. I didn't send any of this, right? This was all done through automation. This link probably doesn't work anymore because we do, or it actually does work. So that's nice. So this is one of the recordings. That call obviously, is meant for the person to go use it or the prospect to go take a look at it. We also do have an automatic AI transcription that gets written out. So in here, you'll be able to see sort of what's going on. And in essence, that's how we have our CRM set up. Then it obviously starts the sequence of reminders. So you can see that right here is like a bunch of different reminders, a bunch of different back and forward conversations. And this is a prospect that we have currently in our system. You can also see the attribution. This guy's an inbound George YouTube. So he came from one of my YouTube videos through an inbound channel. And that's basically the information that you get on a prospect. Okay. Now let's go back to our example of Kevin so I can show you guys that. Now, in addition, there are also other things that you can do. Like, for example, say the prospect were to no-show. You can select them as no-show, and what that will do is it'll actually initiate a no-show sequence. So when somebody no-shows, this means that they didn't show up to the call. You want to get them to rebook. So you see I put them into no-show. It automatically started the no-show sequence, which will start a series of emails like, hey, Kevin, it's Georgie from Borks. We had our call scheduled today for July 23rd at 1 p.m., but you didn't show up. I know things happen. You probably had something come up last minute, so I understand. Book another call with us so we can actually do that outbound audit, blah, blah, blah. And we ask them to reschedule, right? And we send them a link. Now, once they reschedule, it'll automatically take them out of the no-show sequence, put them back into qualified call, and it'll remove these reminders, or if there are any reminders, and reschedule the call, right? And that's the idea of having the no-show sequence. Now, in addition, we have that follow-up call sequence. So, after they book the call, then they're there. And that's about how we have things set up. Now, say the call goes good, and we ended up getting a follow-up call. What I would do now is I would come into here, I would go to Calendly, I would go to Bork's follow-up call, and I would use Kevin's name. Now, I'm not going to do it right now because that part isn't actually fully done, and I don't want to make any issues, but basically, this would take Kevin out of discovery call done, which is the section where you go after you finish a call, which is discovery call done. It'll take you into follow-up call scheduled. It'll start its own sequence to make sure that you show up to that call. Then when you finish that call, it'll put you into follow-up call done. It'll add the recording to the CRM, and it'll have everything in there. So that's an entirely automated solution to managing, who is and isn't in your CRM. Now, in addition, the way that we have all our sequences set up is, so we have the post-call sequence, which is what happens when you like when you finish a call, and then we have the long-term follow-up sequence. So the long-term follow-up sequence is something that you actually have to enroll someone in manually, right? They don't just get in there automatically, and that's basically the sequence that is for people who didn't answer the post call, right? And you want to keep following up with them, right? And in essence, that's what it's for. Like, we will automatically roll them, and this has like a bunch of steps. It has 16 steps, and it goes for almost 2 months on top of the other 2 weeks we have in the other part. So about 3 months of follow-ups that are all automatic on top of me manually following up. So we have that very, very long sequence. And then at the end of this sequence, they'll actually get their lead status set as lost, and then they'll just like leave the pipeline because, I mean, if they don't follow up after, or if they don't respond after like 30 follow-ups, then, I mean, you know, sorry to break it to you, but that lead is gone. So we'll have that. And then the same thing with no-show sequence. This is actually something we have to work on. We do have to make our no-show sequence a bit longer because, I mean, honestly, 4 emails is just not cutting it. But then also at the end of the no-show sequence, they'll get marked as lost, which will remove them from the pipeline. Okay, and that's how we have things set up right now. Now, our B2B, how our B2B works is, for those of you who are unfamiliar with our B2B, first of all, it's a platform which can basically identify anonymous website visitors who are on your website. So someone can visit your website, and our B2B is able to basically find out who they are, like on a person level, and basically tell you. And we have an automation set up that if somebody views our RB, or if somebody goes on our B2B, or if somebody goes on our website, our B2B will detect them. And I'll show you guys what happens. We actually have an entire automation set up for that. So right here, I'll show you guys these 3 automations. And basically, in essence, what it's able to do is do a qualification check using ChatGPT. So it'll look at their details and basically figure out whether they're qualified or not. So, and I'll show you how this actually looks behind the scenes. Like right here, this is exactly what we're putting into ChatGPT. So message. That's probably because I have to go here. Yeah, so I am the owner of a B2B lead generation agency that helps marketing agencies get more leads. Our ideal client profile is C-suite, director, founder, owner, operator, partner, lead job title, 1 to 100 employees, service-based business, under $20 million a year in revenue. I'm going to provide a lead to you, analyze that lead, and see if it fits our criteria. If it does, return yes. If it does not, return no. Do not return anything else. Do not acknowledge this request or say anything aside from yes or no. If you are unsure, just return yes. Here's the lead. Now, this one is Maria Waltman, Senior Sales Associate. She has a Hotmail, and she is Senior Sales Account Associate. It doesn't have a company name, doesn't have a revenue, right? This just looks like something completely off topic, probably Signature Concepts. This is not what we're looking for. So this is branded merchandise. This is not necessarily a marketing agency, so this is not a qualified lead, and therefore it returned no, right? And that's how it basically works, where unqualified leads get returned as no, qualified leads get returned as yes. Right now, if they get returned as yes, they go through the sequence. Then what happens is we'll actually get their email through the message, store it in the database, and then make a request to take it to the next step. The next step is basically where we'll enrich their data. So we'll take their name and we'll put them through a solution called Better Contact, which is a data enrichment platform. We'll find out what their email is, right, by using just their name. And then we'll take their email, basically put that into close, and then go to step 3. And in step 3, we're basically able to personalize the message, right? So what we're able to do is we're able to use ChatGPT to figure out what industry a person is in, and then go and basically use that to our advantage to give them a relevant personalized message, right? So for example, here, you can see that we added a personalized line. So Peter Beishi. So let's see. The prompt that he had, it said right here, this was like, I guess, his website content. So this is the website content. And then ChatGPT was, the response that ChatGPT gave us was, let's see, strategic B2H branding for businesses. So that's like that one line personalized. And then we took that and we put it into close as, let's see, custom. So you see the personalized line was strategic B2H branding for businesses. And that came directly off their website. And that lead, this is that lead. Let's actually check close, and I'll show you guys what exactly it's sent. He's actually not in here for some reason, or I might have to just search the name directly. He might have gotten deleted for some reason. I'm not sure. I'll just put in boss creative. Let's see. Yeah, so Peter, there you go. And you can see right here, it said, "Hey Peter, it's Georgie from Bork. Saw you on our website earlier and thought I'd reach out. I took a look at Boss Creative's agency's website and saw you guys provide," and then here's that personalized line, right? Strategic B2H branding for businesses. Are you guys interested in getting some more qualified meetings on a pay-per-qualified call basis? And this is how we reach out. And in this particular situation, that person didn't actually end up going and booking a call, right? We actually should get into the routine of also calling these people, but we don't do that at the moment. That is something we're going to do in the near future. But that is a perfect example of how that sequence works, and that's exactly how we have that set up. So that's that. I'm just trying to think, is there anything else that I'd want to show from the sales process? Because that's the majority of it. It's a lot of just automation, a lot of making it easier for the person doing the sales, right, to keep track of everything. And I mean, in essence, that's pretty much it. There's not really much else. Like, there are small things like we get Slack notifications, or like, oh, another actually big thing is how we report on the calls. So obviously I showed you guys this, which is, you know, like the acquisition KPIs. How we actually keep track of this is after every call. Here, I'll actually show you guys. I get a message from Integramat asking you guys to, or asking me to respond to a message, right? So you can see right here, I just marked Kevin Smith as you know, no showed. So it's asking me to submit a form. And then after every single call, I'll submit this form, which is, I'll put in the prospect's name, I'll put in the call status. So it's either qualified, unqualified, or no show. I'll put in the closer. I'm the only one who does sales here. So I put closer, and then I'll put the offer. It's either done for you, build and release and consulting. And I'll put in that information, click submit. And then that's the data which actually powers this. And then all of the other things, like whether they close or not, is automatic. That's like when Panadoc contract is signed, it'll send a webhook and it'll do all these different things. So that's all built in. And then we do actually have a bunch of contract events. That's also something I'll show you guys. So with contract events, we have a lot of different automation here. So every time a contract is sent, right, we'll update the lead to the contract sent category. Every time a contract is viewed, it'll let me know in Slack, so I know the person's viewing the contract. And every time a contract is paid, it'll notify the Borks Airtable. So it'll tell, like, hey, this person converted, and then it'll also move them to one, and it'll also actually send them an email activity for onboarding. So I'll show you guys how that looks real quick. If we go back to opportunities and we go back to here, I actually deleted that lead already because I just did, but I'll go back to this. I can show you guys, if I click email, I'll be able to send them the onboarding email, which is going to look like this. Hey, Peter, let's begin the onboarding process. And it gives them the onboarding form and the onboarding call. Okay. And then also, as soon as that gets triggered, it'll actually also go into Monday. This is a brand new solution, so we don't have any boards here, and create a project management board. So this gets created automatically. It's called redacted because we only have one client who's actually going through this process right now. That's that one client you saw that got acquired in the Airtable. And I put redacted so we don't leak that client. But you can see right here, onboarding form, onboarding call. And it basically just starts the Airtable, or it starts the Monday board, which is our project management system, to track what step we're at with the whole process. And I mean, in essence, that's how it works, right? Anyways, that was a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was informative. If any of you guys have any questions in terms of sales process, I actually built this thing out myself. So, you know, feel free, send me a DM. I'll help you out. You know, we can talk if you like. So, but with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Until next video.